fiasco going on over the Armwars. We know that Neil Pickup throws these great Armwars events, and at the last one they had in January, which they just aired last week, was John Thompson, which we all know him as Uncle John in the arm wrestling community, went against Kieran Morris, and they had a whole controversy with Uncle John so-called tried breaking Kieran's arm. Did you see that whole fiasco going on?
Yeah, I've seen some of it.
Did you get to see the video, and what did you think of it?
Man, it's not the first time I've seen something like that happen. And I highly doubt that anytime I've seen it happen, anybody was literally trying to break somebody's arm. I think it's unfortunate that it happened, and we're all human. We make mistakes. I'm no different than him. I'm sure I've have or will do something that I regret, and it didn't have anything to do with me. So I didn't really put a lot of thought into it. I hate that the internet reacted like they did, and like John said, I watched his video. That stuff was really between him and that guy. It didn't have anything to do with anybody else. And if they resolved it 6 months ago and he's good, and it doesn't really matter. It shouldn't matter to anybody else.
Do you think there should be any kind of like disqualification from now moving on? They didn't have any rules in effect that would take care of that situation, because you never really think something like that could possibly happen. But knowing now that we went through this whole issue and all, do you believe that he should be disqualified if that happened again?
So, I watched the original video. Did you watch the guy freak out before that happened? Whenever
Yes.
he beat him,
Yeah, and he was yelling in his face, and they were
well, it
strapped
wasn't even
together.
that. Yeah, when he was jerking around on his arm and stuff, I feel like you're going to open a whole can of worms with that. Like I'm going to be the guy that if we're still pulling, like I'm the guy that won't even if I wanted to hit the top of the table with my pulling arm, I wouldn't do it, because I feel like that could have an effect on my arm, or anything, how it feels, could cause like a jolt up my arm that affects me. Well, that's the same thing. If I'm strapped to somebody and they go to just rapidly jerking on my arm in the middle of a match, I'm going to be pissed, because I feel like that has an effect on potentially the rest of the match. So I get where the aggression came from. And I feel like if you're going to start having repercussions for certain things, it's going to get probably a little deeper than that, yeah, because I wouldn't have liked that. It's one thing to holler and whatever, but if we're strapped together, jerking around on me is not something I want to deal with. And I probably try to drag you across the table while we're still strapped together, because I don't like it. I mean,
I don't think there's too many people that would jerk your arm around, bro, and what I
yeah,
mean, not
well,
expect to go flying across the table.
you know what I'm saying, though. I mean,
Completely.
it's just, if the match is over, like if it's the final round and it's over, that's one thing. But you could literally be affecting the way the outcome of the match goes by doing that. And that's kind of like walking over there and punching somebody in the bicep. I mean, it could have an effect.
Yeah, I totally agree. But just as for clarification now for moving on, do you believe that Uncle John should just be forgiven, or do you think there should be some sort of like suspension, or some of these people are, some people even like, he should be stoned to death. Like, I mean, they just all this crazy stuff. So I
I
just
think
kind of
this
want to
is
get what your reaction is. Do we move on, or does he need to get some sort of
I
punishment?
I just move on. It was 6 months ago. I mean, the guy that it happened to is not upset. I mean,
Nobody that threw the event is upset. Everybody
yeah,
there has dropped it and is cool with everything.
yeah.
So here's another guy that believes the same as all of us. And let's just drop this. We've worked this all out. Now we know that we could progress our sport by adding into the rules. If something like this happens again, if something crazy and the guy's elbow comes off and he follows up like that, you're disqualified. End of story. You're just going to be disqualified and don't do it again. So let's leave it like that. Let's welcome Uncle John back. He's a great contributor to our sport. You know, we're not this cancel culture, none of that pussy shit with arm wrestling.
Right.
So, Corey, I just want to thank you again, brother. Thank you for coming on, bro. It's always a pleasure to have you on my channel. I also want all my subscribers. Corey West has now have an official YouTube channel. Him and his wife, Julie. Julie's going to be helping him out, and they're going to be posting a lot of his content, which, you know, I've been waiting for this, you know. We got to get Corey out there, man. He is the future of our sport. So get over to his channel, click that subscribe button, check out all his great content. It's really helping our sport grow. Is there anything else you'd like to say, Corey, before we call it
Yeah,
a night?
we're actually going to be the next video we put out won't even probably have anything to do with arm wrestling. This will be the first time since we started the channel that we're going to go to a big race. We're not going to take any of our personal cars. We're going to go with some of our best friends that have a big setup. So it'll be interesting to watch. We'll be with some people that have a really big setup, and you know, a couple really fast class specific cars that should. I want to say one of them is going to be in a 10,000 to win race. Not sure what the other one's going to be in, but we'll be having a lot of fun. We'll be riding pit bikes around and driving little smart cars around the pits and having a good time.
Oh my God, I love it, bro. And that is just great networking. Get us out there, man, because we know all the car people, they love arm wrestling. Let's show them our sport. And then there's one other thing I got to throw in there, bro, before we call it a night, is I just want to let you know I was just over at a radio station over here in North Cal, and I just was on 103.3 FM, and we were all talking about arm wrestling, about the future of arm wrestling in Petaluma. Last week they had Jim Dolcini, the legend of arm wrestling. He's from Petaluma. He talked about the history of all Petaluma arm wrestling, how it all began, and how he was a big contributor to that. And now this week we went with the future, and I announced today on there that I'm going to be bringing big time arm wrestling back to Petaluma in 2023. I'm going to be getting a lot of the international guys involved. I want to get you involved. I want to get you over here. I want to just spotlight, you know, where this history was. You know, we haven't had much action in the last 20 years, but now come 2023, things are going to change, and we're bringing it back to where it all begun. So definitely, I'd love to get you involved, bro. I'll definitely be in touch with you, and we'll find you some great super matches. And I just want to give everybody, all the subscribers, the heads up, man. Big things coming, Petaluma 2023.
Cool. Sounds good.
Have a great night, brother. Thank you again, and we'll be talking soon.
All right, buddy. Thanks.
Later, brother.